So it's been roughly about 6 months since I started this whole insulin world, or not insulin world, pump world, insulin pump world. There we go. There's a lot of bad parts about it. That's usually what I focus on. It's not all bad. So here's me being positive. Some of the better things about it. So these are not accurate. The CGMs are not always picturesque like the pamphlets make them out to be. But on that note, I will say that it's better than nothing. It's better than just blindly going off of, a few finger sticks or blood sticks, whatever, during a day, especially with the different types of food you eat. Not all carbs are the same. And having that little cushion of some things, keeping an eye on what your level is, it's better than nothing. And I know having my blood sugar back to, in that frame of where it's supposed to be, I feel my highs and lows a lot more than I remember from a long time ago. Good and bad. It's not fun feeling, sick and nauseous when you're high, or being really woozy when you're low, but I would rather have those symptoms than not. Because even like a year ago, I could be like 350 and I'd feel just fine. So having the pump with the CGM has helped with that in that regard. It's also made me keep a much closer eye on carb counting. Hang on. I pay much more closer to the carbs, like by the gram rather than chunks of carbs, I guess you could say. When I was little and we first started, learning all about carbs, 15 grams was a carb, just a single carb. So like a sandwich would be 2 carbs. With the pump, you tell it exactly how many grams, then it'll do like micro units, I guess. And you couldn't do that with the insulin pens or the injections. I know with the syringes, you could do half units. Even like a stick of chewing gum. That's weird. But I know it's helped for the better. I don't eat as many processed or as much junk food, which I know in the long run is good. I still miss, just sitting down with ice cream and just guesstimating with how many carbs are in there. Even with like homemade cooking, baking, it's math work, but you can figure out how many carbs are in, like a slice of banana bread and things like that. So I eat healthier with it. I wake up in the morning easier, and I think that's just because my body is functioning a lot more normal than it's used to feeling. And I know this sounds so stupid. The pump has made me a much more responsible diabetic, because you can't just forget a blood sugar. So, because it'll keep beeping at you and go, meh, 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 and you have to do it, otherwise you're gonna fall out of auto mode and all that stuff. So, and you do have to change, like all of this stuff on time, otherwise it'll tell you gotta put a new sensor in, it's not gonna work without it. Same with your site rotations, you run out of insulin. Even if you don't want to change your site rotation, you still have to, because you don't have any more juice going in there. So, and I think a lot of it is just getting used to it. It's not a mindset, but I know as a kid they used to have like camps, diabetic camps for kids. They should have those for adults. I'm not saying we need like the art projects or anything like that, but it would be helpful. And I want to say that's kind of why I'm doing this, because for the uninformed who doesn't like to do their research on stuff, I don't know, it's a lot to take in at the very beginning, and it's a lot different in person when you're actually doing this. I mean, it's a lot of tears, it's a lot of frustration and anger and swear words. I say a lot. But the benefits do outweigh the bad. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. And I know I've said it before too, like the red tape with like insurance and all that stuff is a whole different ballpark. But would I do it again? Yes. I don't know how it's going to be in the airports. I'm still really nervous about that, but I don't know. I don't like having, a tail sticking out of my pocket, but because, this thing snagging on like a handle does not feel good. But, it's not a security blanket, but, it's always nice knowing that you have this system that's taking better control. That's not the right way of putting it. It's doing a much better job of helping my diabetes than I was able to do with the insulin needle sticks. There we go. There's probably a much more eloquent way of putting that, but I'm still waking up. I've been up for a few hours. But wrapping up, the pump is for the better good, even though it has all of its baggage on the side too. So, and I still have to make a doctor's appointment. Is it April, June? In 2 months, for my travel notices and all that, and then I'll find out what my levels are from there too. So that's all I've got for this week.